Well, the comeback was cute, but in the end, the Ottawa Senators have no one but themselves to blame for a 7-5 loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs coming back from the Christmas break. Welcome to the postcast presented by the Glebe Central Pub. Check them out, 779 Bank Street. Let them know that Locked On Senators sent you and get your tickets on the Send Shuttle, just $18 round trip to and from the GCP. You can get those at GlebeCentralPub.com. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Lalime's Martian, and what a loss it was. The Senators were tied at 2 just minute into the second period, and then it was bingo, bango, bongo. There goes Linus Ullmark. You're yanked, and it didn't get much better than that until it did. The Senators brought it to within one goal twice, but in the end, an empty netter seals this one late, and Martian, I don't think I've been this mad after a loss because this game was handed to them on a platter. The Leafs were without William Nylander for the second half of this game, and they just absolutely caved in the third period. They got a couple shots and a goal to boot.
Yeah, and I think it hurts extra because it's the Toronto Maple Leafs, right, Ross? I mean, like, it's just coming out of the holidays, you see the Battle of Ontario on the schedule Saturday night. You get yourself a little bit excited for that one. Maybe you caught the World Juniors game, Team Canada gets their win, and you're looking for that, that Senators win here. And yeah, I mean, Linus Ullmark didn't have his best game, buddy, and I think that was a game that they definitely should have had a better chance of winning. I don't know what exactly to point my finger at here. I think there's a bunch of things that went terribly wrong, but maybe the Sens had a little too much turkey at Christmas, a little too many sweets. Maybe just relaxed a little too much. It is weird. You made a great point earlier today, actually, that they don't really give them a lot of time to jump back into things. They go straight into a game. I mean, no practice time, straight off the holiday break, and the boys are on the ice in an important divisional game. So not perfect.
Nick Jensen missed the morning skate because of travel issues. What kind of professional league is this?
Where's he coming from too? Like
Minnesota.
Yeah, it's not like the weather was bad here in Ottawa. I mean, it was a little windy, but I don't know. So he's taking commercial flight day of the game, or he got delayed last night? Like, how did that go down?
No clue. I know that the teams can't travel the day before. The 24, 25, 26 is no fly zone. And then they all have to go out the morning of the game, just like a preseason game. And I was looking, a lot of home teams got victories today. But this one, it wasn't because the Leafs were at home. It was because Ottawa's season-long weaknesses all bit them in the ass. The PK, the worst road PK in the National Hockey League, goes 0-for-2 in the first period. The NHL's worst goalie in terms of goals saved above expected lets in 5 goals on 14 shots. Sorry, 4 goals on 14 shots. Sorry. Hey, he did make a couple saves, but hey, 4 goals on 14 shots, that's not going to get it done. And then I loved Nick Jensen last year. I thought he was a phenomenal player, but clearly he's not that guy this year. What was he doing on what ended up being the game-winning goal? He is facing the corner. He looks like he's almost trying to can open Lalime, who's watching the Leafs forward just absolutely dangle him. I was just in awe of that defensive misstep. There's just so many issues that are plaguing this team. Not so many, I should say, because they actually have a lot going for them. But when they all rear their ugly head at the same time, It's infuriating. And if you're Steve Stais, you have to know what the problems are on this team. They've got the analytic guy. They've got the eye test of watching this team go through the motions on the PK. And look, we don't talk about another man's job on this show, but the Maple Leafs power play was dead last. They fire their power play coach and they go 2-for-2 in the first period. The Senators' penalty kill has been awful all year. They're dead last on the road. They're 31st overall, and that might even be worse after tonight's performance. They go 1-for-3 on the penalty kill. It was a big PK. I'll give them that. It was third period, down 1. They needed that one, and they got it. They actually had a couple of good offensive opportunities there, but I'm not saying Nolan Baumgartner should be, looking over his shoulder, but I'm just saying that he needs to dial it in on the PK because they have too much talent and too many good defensive-minded players on their team. Look at their expected goals at 5-on-5 that they shouldn't be catering when it becomes just shorthanded situation. It's brutal.
Yeah, it is brutal, and I mean, go back to Nick Jensen there. He comes away in this one a -2. Definitely not his best night. He's out there killing penalties too occasionally, so he's not. You look at the personnel that they have out there. I hate to say, they're going to miss Shane. They miss Shane Pinto, but that's the honest truth. I think he could have easily been the difference in this game here too. The PK, remember Ross, remember the beginning of the year when they were doing the diamond structure or like a different kind of format for how they were looking out there, and the fans called it way earlier. I'm not sure what Nolan Baumgartner's thinking here either. Like he's not really making adjustments fast enough, I don't find. Obviously that third penalty kill was successful, but I give more credit to just the players and the way that they handled that moment versus the coaching that they were given in that opportunity. The two early ones, it's like, they go over 2 really early in the game on the PK, and that was kind of a killer, right? And then they do a good job coming back, but what a way to get out of the gates, just absolutely crapping the bed on the first 2 penalty kills. Like early on the road, a penalty kill, a successful one, could be a good momentum generator for a road team, right? You kill an early penalty, and you're all of a sudden looking really good, but I don't know. I have no answers here, Ross. I'm also a little tired after the holidays. I think it just takes a little bit out of you. Obviously, all the socializing with friends and family, but man, it's a tough one to swallow because a win would have totally changed how I'm feeling here tonight, I think.
Yeah, and the game was there for them to win. Like you score 5 goals on the road and you should win that game. I think it's as simple as that. And the Ottawa Senators just weren't able to do it tonight. And I had my qualms with the scheduling. That's fine. But after the first period, you got to settle in. And it was 2-2. And right after I tweeted that, saying like, hey, both teams got the kinks out. It's time for a hockey game. The Leafs scored 3 goals in a matter of minutes and really just turned this game on its head. Now, give credit to Ottawa to a certain extent for being able to battle back down 5-2 going to the third period. That's not an easy situation. They scored 3 goals in the first 10 minutes. And if it weren't for that ridiculous defensive effort by number 3 on the Matthew Nyes goal, it would have been a tie game at that point. It would have been 5-5, but instead it's not. The Senators pressed with the empty net. They pressed even before that. I mentioned the couple opportunities they got on the power play. Heck, Claude Giroux hits the knob of Joseph Wool's stick with 4 minutes left in this game. Like, it is a game of inches, and it wasn't like the Sens ended up getting blown out, but this feels like a blowout loss just with how things went and how bad they made it on themselves. The first period, like I almost want to give a bit of a pass there, but this second period, I talk about issues that are plaguing this team all year long. The second period has been their undoing. I don't know if it's the long change. I don't know. I'm trying to find excuses or at least reasons why. And I just can't put my finger on why their second periods are so bad. Coming into this game, the Senators were a -4 goal differential in the second period. They're +9 in the first period, and they were +1 in the third period. So their only negative period in goal differential, and the shots in the second period in this game were 20-9 for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, it's the dreaded middle frame right now for them. And yeah, I think even without pulling up those stats, I think if you watch all the Sens games, you kind of notice that too. Like that they might have a really good first period, and then for whatever reason, they come out in the second flat, and they get scored on early in those periods.
This one they scored early though, and it wasn't like,
and like their goals though too, like they don't feel meaningful in this game either. That's why it probably feels like a blowout to you, is because they were down early and they never had a lead. They got close a couple times, but it's just not having that lead at any point. It's tough to kind of get up for it as a fan.
Yeah, second game in a row where the Sens don't have a single lead in the game. They managed to get a point in the Buffalo game, but never led. And tonight, they never lead, but came so close to at least getting a point. A point would have felt like a win.
Yeah, for sure. I was actually hoping that they were, well, obviously, I was hoping that they were going to somehow manage to get a point. I would have just been able to been like, all right, I'm happy with that. I can walk away from it on this one.
And yeah, the fact that the Leafs that were without William Nylander for the third period and they were playing, I think, a very defensively, only defensive-minded game. Just Ottawa Leafs had their chances, man.
Aren't a great team right now either, right? They're struggling. Their media is all over them. They go into this break on a bit of a skid of their own, right? Where everybody's kind of talking about them in a whole different light than, previous seasons, especially, the last 5-6 years leading up into this. And so you have a team that's reeling a little bit. And I feel like the Sens were kind of starting to find their groove a little bit coming into this break here, obviously. And They should have been able to carry that momentum through the break. It wasn't that long of a break. I mean, it was 3 days or something like that. So
Yep.
they had a little bit of a break, but it's, on a regular season, it's not uncommon to have 3 days off in a row. So I don't know what happened to them here tonight, but I would have liked to see them put their foot on the Leafs' throat a little bit more. That's a team right now. If they can get hot pretty quickly, and those big guys that they have on their team, Matthew Nyes tonight I thought was really good. He scored a couple beauty goals, and Matthews got one too. So
Matthews had 3 points.
Yeah, so I mean those guys were rolling for them tonight. Maybe Nylander's the problem, and we did them a favor by knocking him out. I don't love his personality myself.
I mean, he still scored a goal in this game.
Yeah, I know. He'll always do that. I know.
40 seconds into this game, and the Sens, I mean, you're coming into a road barn, traveling day of, taking a penalty on the first shift, and I know people have their qualms of whether it should have or not on Fabian Zetterlund. Him and Matthews basically just ran into each other, and Ottawa got a reply. Ottawa's only power play in this game was on the same type of play, a pick play, but to go down a man that early in your first game back, that's a tough hill to climb.
Yeah, always tough. Always a tough thing to do.
Hey, we do have SensCentral Standouts a little bit later on the show. And up next, a Boots on the Ground report. Our guy Timmy was in the Scotiabank Library tonight. We'll get his thoughts on tonight's game after this. The postcast always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. Check out the GCP where the vibes are free at 779 Bank Street. Head there for a good time and a long time. It's walking distance from Lansdowne, and they've got something cooking almost every night of the week. Live music every Saturday night going on right now. That's one way to wash away an annoying loss by the Ottawa Senators, is getting into some live music. They do no cover ever. And then they've got open mic night on Wednesdays. Big fan of open mic night. I'm not going up there and grabbing the guitar because I can't play the guitar, but I do like going and just watching and hanging out. And it's always a great atmosphere for that. On Monday, they've got wing nights. And oh yeah, how about the Send Shuttle? $18 round trip. Thank you very much. Why wouldn't you want to get on the Send Shuttle for just $18? GlebeCentralPub.com is where you get your tickets. It leaves an hour and 15 minutes before the game, and it will bring you right back to the pub afterwards for more song and dance. So head to 779 Bank Street and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. This postcast is also brought to you by FanDuel. Sundays move fast with the NFL, one big play, and suddenly everything feels different. Same with the World Juniors, and that's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, and every highlight moment. You can go right now and be in the middle of the action at FanDuel.com. You can place your NFL live bets all season long. Get on the Chicago Bears. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. All right, Marshy, Sens lose 7-5 tonight to the stupid Toronto Maple Leafs. The Senators, I know, playoffs, but the Sens had won 4 straight regular season games, sweeping the season series last year. This is the first of 4 meetings this year, so there will be time for revenge. The shots on goal favored the Maple Leafs 33-31. Power play, Ottawa goes 0 for 1, just the one opportunity. Leafs go 2 for 3. The Senators win the face-off battle. These two teams came into tonight 1-2 in the National Hockey League in face-off percentage. Senators snap back 54% of the draws. Leafs with 32 hits to Ottawa's 30. Not a whole lot of blocks tonight. 7 for Toronto and 6 for Ottawa. The Senators with a 51.3 expected goals percentage at 5-on-5. The goal scorers tonight for Ottawa: Nick Cousins gets his 6th, Ridley Gregg his 4th, and then in the third period, it was Drake Batherson, his 15th, Tim Stützle, his 19th, and Jordan Spence brought this to within 1 goal, 9 minutes and 18 seconds into the final frame. Marshy, what do you say we get to Toronto and get to our boots on the ground report?
Hell yeah, why not? Let's do it.
All right, longtime citizen here. He'll join us in just a moment. Timmy is standing by. But before we get to that, I do want to ask you about Linus Ullmark, because the chat is lighting up about Linus Ullmark. It was not a good performance. I thought on the 1 goal in the second period, it was a really bad read by him, where he just kind of was like flailing his legs back and forth. Puck goes through, sitting there. Bobby McMahon smacks it home. And then I think that the goal that pissed me off the most was the one that he got yanked on, which was Austin Matthews, his 4-2 goal for the Leafs, where it's a great rebound. Like, yeah, he beat Shabbat to the net. You can look at Shabbat on that and say, hey, maybe tie up your guy a little bit better. But that is the easiest rebound to cradle. It hit him right in the shoulder, and it just dropped right down. I couldn't believe it.
I also think he could have saved it. I mean, even just the rebound itself, yeah, but I think he could have kicked his leg out a little further and actually just at least try to make the save there. I felt like he just gave up on the play. Like, I don't know if he thought Shabbat was going to grab it or he just lost control of it and didn't realize where it was. But yeah, man, it wasn't his best night. I'm blaming him for this one. I think, those 2 goals we just pointed out, that's the difference in the game. This could have been a lot of different story, and it takes a lot of the wind out of the sails of the team when you're letting in goals like that, and you're also supposed to be one of those guys who's those go-to guys on this roster. He's their starting goaltender. He's an $8.25 million goalie. They're paying him a lot of money. He needs to stop more pucks. You can't be letting in 4 goals on 14 shots multiple times in a single season. Like, we're not even halfway through this season, and he's already done it a bunch of times. I mean, he's had worse nights than this. And this was, what was his save percentage tonight, Ross? 0.714.
Wow.
I mean, give me a break. That's
Korpisalo numbers.
Worse. Korpisalo, for Korpisalo, that was an egregious night. Obviously, for any goaltender, that's a horrible night. But I mean, for Linus Ullmark, that's not what we need from him. He needs to be ready to go. He needs to be ready to play. I know he probably had a great break and things like that, but get your head in the game, pal.
Yeah, we talk a lot about expected goals because it does match the quality of the shots. And Linus Ullmark was minus 2.2, which I got to imagine is a bottom 10 performance in the National Hockey League this season. But let's get to Toronto now. We got our guy Timmy standing by. TJ Dubs. Timmy, great to see you, man. I like seeing a smile after a tough night. How you doing?
Oh, I'm all right. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, loud and clear.
All right, sick. So yeah, it was entertaining. Like, everyone got their money's worth. I didn't pay a cent, so I got my money's worth. But yeah, it's a tough one. I was hoping they would at least get to manufacture a point, and they didn't do that. So it was a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, no doubt. Timmy, take me through your emotions throughout this game, because it was quite the seesaw battle. Were you just down and out, like rally towel over your head when it was 5-2?
No, well, like, the Sens do some fun stuff, and I know the Leafs do some ridiculous stuff. So I was like, it's not looking good, but you just never know. And the Sens had their chances to tie it up. They didn't. And it was just like, it seemed like every time they were cooking, a minute later, the Leafs would score. And it was like, there was never a chance to like really build momentum and seize the game. And they just didn't do that. Right. So yeah, a bit of a bummer there.
Yeah, take me through your personal experience. Where were you sitting tonight? What were the fans around you doing? Were you getting any griff, from them? Are you wearing any Sens gear? I can't tell right now, but like,
we got a nice little, we got a little classic Timmy jersey. I was in 302, so right above where the Sens were shooting twice. So I got to see that like nice little Nick Cousins goal. There were some Sens fans. There was a good amount of Sens fans. I will call it a regular season good Sens match because like I went to game 1 and it was a Leaf zoo. So like there were a lot of Sens fans. I saw a lot of the red alternates. I saw a nice Pinto one out there. There's a good amount. Like, no, I'm too nice for anyone to talk trash. Like, I'm just like, like, we suck, you suck, like whatever. Like, let's just get a win, right? So
you just show them the pearly whites, and they go, "Oh, he's a good guy."
Exactly, right? So, yeah, it was one of those things. So I saw a lot of those. Yeah, I saw like we were in the end when Ullmark got pulled, and it was like, I saw the puck staring right in between his legs. It was rough, right? It was rough for those goals where you're like, man, like these are avoidable errors. I got to see Timmy's nice goal like right up there, so that was cool. So.
Yeah, we didn't even really talk about that. It was more just a vent sesh in the first segment. So take me through
100%.
that talk, what you saw on it.
Oh, he just he put it between his legs and then just started dancing in the middle. Like the Leafs gave up a lot of really good opportunities. And I think that's the annoying part. It's like the Leafs didn't carry the play. I didn't think the Sens did either, but it was like the game was there multiple times. Like Ridley scores that weird goal at the start of the second. I'm like, all right, we're cooking, man. 5 minutes later, like it's 5-2, right? Like it was an annoying game, but it was entertaining, but annoying.
I feel like Marshy. I feel like Timmy's doing his best positive Pillsy impression right now.
He is, yeah. Well, I mean, look at it. He's had a great night. I mean, he saw a lot of goals. Like he said, he got his money's worth here. You go to you never see 12 goals.
Most goals in a Battle of Ontario ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's shocking because there were some pretty high scoring ones in the early 2000s.
Yeah, and it was all Ottawa in the mid 2000s. It was like 7-1.
Timmy, do you have a SensCentral standout for us here?
I do. I've had this one cooking since the middle of the third, and it's the holiday season. So happy holidays. Stephen Halliday is my SensCentral standout. It seems like the game's really slowing down for him right now. Like the puck's on his stick. He's able to get an extra look. He's making nice passes. I love what he's doing, man. Like him, Borgo, Cousins, like I really liked them. I thought they were really effective in the first half. Like I love what he's doing. He's making the most of his ice time. I love it.
Dude, there's one play in particular shift that I want to talk about here is in the second period. And maybe this is great for Stephen Halliday, but not great for the Senators, where they needed a physical response to get themselves going after they went down 5-2. And I had to double, triple, and quadruple check the number because all I saw was the 3 and a bigger guy. I was like, I thought McDermott wasn't playing tonight because he came into a scrum and he went 1, 2, 3 and separated the player from a puck. I was like, if Stephen Halliday, who's 6'4" and maybe the most understated beauty that you'll ever meet, very like down to earth, chill, if he can add a gear of like a Nick Cousins element to his game where he adds a little snarl, I mean, he could really become an awesome middle six player in the National Hockey League. So I'm glad you went with Halliday. Gets an assist, and I was looking it up too. Stephen Halliday is a certified disher. Still looking for his first NHL goal. Had a couple more looks tonight. It's coming for him. It's coming. But if you go with Belleville and Ottawa this season for Stephen Halliday, he's sitting in 31 games. He's sitting at 22 apples and 1 goal.
Yeah,
not bad.
That's awesome. Just a disher. Are you going to be at the next game when they're in Toronto, Timmy?
Funny enough, someone gifted me tickets, so yeah, I'll be there. And then oddly enough, my wife gave me tickets to the Detroit game 2 days before, so I guess I'm taking the week off and I'm having a Sens vacation, baby.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, hey, we'll catch up with you during that time because nothing gets me going like a Sens vacation. We appreciate the positivity because there wasn't a whole lot of that earlier on in the show, but they are right there. It's just these same mistakes that are driving me nuts, man.
Yeah. No, they got to be better and they got to be tighter. I don't know if you said it, but I think Halliday had 2 apples today. So we'll double check the box score. I think he got a couple secondary assists. So
dead right.
Yep. You're coming for my hosting job here. Holy smokes. Yeah, 2 apples.
You never know.
So 23 apples on the season overall for Halliday in 31 games. Yeah, great call there. Timmy, appreciate you coming on, man. We'll do this again soon. And we always see in the comments, we always see you watching, listening, engaging with the show. We really appreciate that, man. True friend of the show. So we'll chat soon, all right?
Thank you very much, guys. Have a great time. And I'm looking forward to listening to the Ventcast when I get home.
Hell yeah, there he goes. You can follow Timmy on Twitter. He is at TJ Dubs with 2 B's, number 83. The prophecy was written. Wow. Stephen Halliday's number, and he turns into the SensCentral standout tonight.
We're in the simulation here. What a great guy he seems like, eh?
Just a beauty. I'd have a beer or 10 with him.
We were such downers. And then he came in just like a nice bright Christmas light, and I think he made me feel a little bit better. What do you think, Ross? We get into our standouts now, or we need to do a break?
Yeah, a quick break, and I was going to say it leads perfectly in to our SensCentral standouts. You're listening to the postcast presented by Locked On Senators. Welcome back to the postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside the Martian. You can find us on social media in the handles below at Lalime's Martian, at SensCentral, and consider becoming an everyday or joining the Everydayers Club. You can do that through the link below through Supercast and get ad-free content wherever you get your podcast. Senators lose 7-5 tonight to the Toronto Maple Leafs in a game they never led and were infuriating along the way. But if you score 5 goals, there's certainly going to be some standout performances. Stephen Halliday is off the board. Marshy, who do you got?
I'm going to go with the other guy on the roster who had 2 assists tonight, multi-point night for Claude Giroux, particularly for one play specifically. and that was the assist on the Jordan Spence goal. He took a blast. Jordan Spence originally took a shot from the point that hit him right in the foot, and it bounced right out to Spence. I believe he got credit for one of those assists on that goal right there. So he took one for the team. He kind of accidentally blocked the shot just by jumping up, screening the goaltender, causing a little bit of that havoc in front, and then that puck bounced back to Jordan Spence, and he ended up burying that nugget right there. So that is what I'm going to go with there for my standout. Claude Giroux, 18 minutes on ice after the holidays for a 30-something-year-old guy. It's not going to be
with
easy.
3 kids.
I mean, he's got to be exhausted, but he came to play. He was ready to go. So let's go with G.
And not only that, but as Kevin Hemina points out in the chat, game 1300 tonight for Claude Giroux.
Could have led with that. I mean, yeah, unbelievable. I wonder if Pilsy would be okay with us popping a bottle of champagne for the 1300 mark.
I mean, once you get past 1,000, there's no way that he can actually. I feel like now it's a bit. Now he has to be that guy.
Yeah.
Which we kind of put him in a box for that. But you know what? He did it to himself. Hey, have some fun.
And he knows we're not going to let that slide, right? Now that's going to be one of his things. It's the same thing as we were just talking about Stephen Halliday. That was a Pilsy classic moment right there, because he said you're not really a disher, and it turns out the guy was leading the league he was in assists at the time, and he has done nothing but be a setup man since. So it's, we don't take it easy on Pilsy, but it's because he secretly, people might not know this, but he dishes it out just as good as he takes it.
Oh yeah, and he's so sly when he dishes, it's unreal. But hey, on that note, I want to pull up this tweet from another SensCentral citizen, Chase. His goal this year is to find the most obscure milestone tweet by a notable journalist and tag Pilsy in it.
Yeah,
I love that. But yeah, Claude Giroux had a good game. I'm glad you went with him for a standout.
Yeah, and that goes for all of us, right? Like the citizens are going to be honest no matter what. If we're making mistakes, they hold us accountable. So
as they should, they should.
That's why we love them.
Like I said, catering earlier this show, and it's cratering. So -1 for me. I can join most of the Ottawa Senators tonight in the dash department, but not my SensCentral standout. And look, part of me wants to go with Timmy, because if you haven't seen it, go watch his goal tonight again and again and again. It was absolutely filthy. Picking the puck up off the wall between his legs. Austin Matthews is looking around like, how did he just do that? And by the time he did, puck's the net. And what a greasy play from Max Domi, trying to take his hands out after the shot's gone. That's just the way he plays. So you gotta battle through that. But I'm going to go a different direction. The guy who made this a 1-goal game, I've been so impressed with Jordan Spence recently. The whole year, he's kind of stepped in and been kind of what was advertised, an analytical darling who can produce a little bit. Man, he was flying today. He played over 20 minutes, and ever since being paired with Thomas Chabot on a pair that I think many thought was too offensive, but could they play in their own zone enough? Yeah, the answer is yes, for sure. And Jordan Spence scores the goal. He also had an assist in this game. He was a +1, 3 shots on goal. He's just looking so confident, toying with the puck at the blue line in the offensive zone. And with the regression of Nick Jensen that we've already spent enough time talking about, everybody watches the game can see it. If it weren't for Jordan Spence being able to come up and eat 20 minutes a night, I don't know where they'd be. Like, they would be, I don't even know, man. It'd be tough.
Oh yeah, they'd be in big trouble without him. Yeah, he's done a great job, man. And it's so funny that they were scratching him early in the year too. Like, I don't know if that was even like a bug in the ear of Travis Green from Nolan Baumgartner saying, "Oh, this guy can't defend." And then you look at that pairing with him and Chabot. Like, I think the critique people would have made is, are they able to play hard enough to be able to defend in their own zone? Because they're both kind of, I don't think soft player is the right word, but you wouldn't look at them and say they're overly physically imposing. But then you don't have to be physically imposing if you've got the puck on your stick the entire time and you're making elite breakout passes constantly. I mean, that's why he's an analytics darling. He makes the right play a lot of the time with the puck on the stick. He did it again tonight, so I like that standout, Ross. 2 points.
And not only is plus-minus a bit of a dated stat, we understand that, but when you're leading the team, it's noteworthy. And for the fact that Jordan Spence leading this team +11 on the season with his goal and an assist tonight, he's now up to 13 points in 28 games as well. So he's been worth every single bit of value they gave up. A 3rd and a 6th round pick, Marshy, to get this guy into the mix. And he's an RFA at the end of the season, but I'd love to see him stick around and be a Senator long-term. That pair tonight with Thomas Chabot. I felt like he kind of carried Chabot a little bit. I know Chabot ends up +2, but he had some real tough reads and cutbacks defensively where it just wasn't necessarily his night. But I'm having trouble really kind of getting on, for lack of a better term, guys, for the first game back after Christmas. I know they're professionals. I know it's a big game, divisional game. But for me, the only jarring, like the guys who I just needed more from are the guys where I'm just kind of fed up because they've shown time and time again it just hasn't gone their way this year for whatever reason. But there's our SensCentral standouts tonight. I'm going with Jordan Spence. Marshy's got Claude Giroux, and our guy Timmy Whalen's got Stephen Halliday, who, I mean, if you missed it in one of our 7 chats with him on Locked On Senators, he grew up in the Toronto area at times. He's kind of moving around Maryland and in Toronto, his dad's side of the family from there. And he grew up rooting against the Leafs whenever he could. So I'm sure it felt good for him to get 2 apples tonight. Of course, not as good as a win would have felt, but he had his guy, man. He was doing everything that he could. And looking it up, the year we interviewed him, Marshy, and Pilsy said he wasn't a disher. He had 60 assists in 62 games.
We need to check the game notes on that one, Pills.
Oh, love it. Any final thoughts on tonight's postcast? A frustrating one, but look, the Sens are still 5-2-1 in their last 8 games. They've got to park this one because this stretch in the schedule right now, where you have Columbus in the CTC on Monday, then Washington in the CTC on Thursday, then Winnipeg in the CTC on Saturday, and Detroit ending a 4-game homestand before you go out to Utah. Like,
yeah,
you have to win 3 of those 4 games.
Yeah, no, I mean, final thoughts for me on that. Yeah, absolutely. You got to go and recover from this one. But for me on this game, I just want a little, like, one of those memory wipes, right? Like the Men in Black, just like, just make me forget it. And yeah, we can move on from this because I'm in a grumpy mood. I don't know why. I had a great holiday. I had a great holiday, so I just felt like being negative on this postcast, I guess. So maybe
it makes you feel better. It's just kind of that's what the Ventcasts are for.
True. That's true. I always forget. Yeah. We venter, we vibe, and yeah, it feels like a venter. But at the end of the day, big picture, we're still fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. But this 4-game homestand
would have been nice to win. It would have been nice to win tonight. That's all I'm saying.
And all I'm saying is the Senators have to get wins on home ice, right? Right now, they've got 3 extra home games to play than they've already played on the road. And you've got 4 coming up at home. You've got a huge divisional game to end it off against the Red Wings. And you've got 3 other teams, one of them Winnipeg struggling, and 2 teams that you're direct competition with if you're going to be in the wild card race when it's all said and done. Columbus struggling. That needs to be a victory. Can't give them points, momentum. And then Washington has kind of been hit or miss all season. The Sens already spanked them in their barn. You don't think they're going to remember that coming into Ottawa on Thursday? So big one. That's a matinee too. January 1st, 1 p.m. start. Yeah, so dial in for all these home games coming up. But tough way to start the second quote. Well, it's not really the second half of the season. They haven't reached that 41-game mark yet. But the after Christmas part of the schedule, because from here to the Olympics is where we're going to see some teams fall out of the race completely and others put themselves in a really good place to make playoffs in April. For the Martian, I'm Ross Levitan. Shout out to everyone who joined us in the chat tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you. Please hit the thumbs up, the like button below, leave the comments below the videos as well. Those help out, and go Sens go. That's what I'm going to end the show on. I know it's been a rough show, rough game. Go Sens go. Let's get some GSGs in the chat as we wrap up on Monday. We've got another big show. We'll get Pilsy's reaction to the weekend, and the roster freeze is over. We talked about some trade targets. Elliot Friedman tonight on Saturday Headline says there might be some surprising names on waivers tomorrow. And the Ottawa Senators, I'm not saying that waivers are going to be the make or break of what this team's going to do, but everybody knows what's holding this team back. And in some circumstances, it's veteran players, and those are often the toughest to have hard conversations with and potentially even cut loose. So it's going to be a fascinating stretch for steady Stevie Staios right now, and we'll see how it all turns out for him. Thanks so much for watching, listening, engaging with the show. This has been the postcast after a 7-5 loss to Toronto Maple Leafs. The Glebe Central Pub is always a part of the Locked On Sens family. Go check them out, 779 Bank Street, and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. We're a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.